Hi. Hi, everyone. We are Adrián Ruiz, Sergio Gómez, Martín Mau, Martina Roman, and Patricia Solan, and we will represent SEK-Ciudalcampo. Our challenge is to explain how does programming help to prevent the contamination of our drinking water. To do so, we have done this index. We will follow this index, explaining the phases. We will start with the discover, the define, the design, improvement, and future plans, and finally the conclusion. First of all, we have the discover. In this part, we have investigated the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. To do so, we have investigated in Madrid, one of the cities with the highest quality drinking water network in Spain. In all the areas of community of Madrid, we have take a water supply that is not adequate for human consumption, but also of high quality. Spain has surface water bodies. It has an 85% of rivers, and the rest are lakes, transitional and coastal bodies, and 44% that are affected at a point of sources pollution. And a similar percentage is affected by diffuse source of population. For example, irrigation or rainwater run out of agrochemical treated crops, which end up of rivers and aquifers. We have found that the continent with the highest dirty water is Africa. We can find that the most contaminant points of Africa are chemicals and bacteria, nitrate from fertilizants and animal manure, which lead into groundwater and contaminate wells, causing blood disorders and miscarriages.
The amount of information that there is regarding water contamination for human health and for the environment is so broad that we have decided to dedicate all our efforts to the analysis of water sources through the construction of a device that can be replicated easily everywhere in the world. First, we analyze different water sources to define a method that can be implemented anywhere and can be used by anyone with a basic knowledge of technology. Then we build a probe that measures the level of pollution in the water that we drink. Then we created a digital prototype that is capable of measuring the values of some of the elements in the polluted water. We reviewed about the contamination that we find in the measurements, and lastly, we published our project so that everyone can implement this in their residence and can identify the pollutants in their water.
Now we're going to talk about the design. First of all, the design consisted on the probe. The probe was made by everyday products that we can find anywhere near us. So, for example, the probe, we made a really rudimentary one, which consisted of a straw, popsicle sticks, and two copper cables. So, in contact with the water, it can analyze the amount of particles that that sample of water contains. But because of this rudimentary probe was like really rudimentary and really inexact, we decided to use another cheap probe that was bought by another professional probe that was bought by, and it works much better. Then the second part would be about talking about the Arduino, which the code we extracted from a public source, so everyone may have access to it. But we modified a little bit the code so it works perfect for us. For example, in the loops and etc. And yeah, that's basically it. We made a circuit, and in order for it to detect the particles, we attached it to the probe, and it started working perfectly.
Now we're going to talk about the improvements and the future plans. We thought of a slightly more ambitious plan in which, in addition of analyzing the water consumption, we could also analyze the water from our rivers, oceans, lakes, and swamps, and create an interactive world map updated with the analysis of colleagues from other schools and institutes around all the world. On the other hand, we believe that this project could be improved if we change the probe that we made it manually for another one that is manufactured already. With a very little cost, the analysis will be even more reliable, and therefore the results will improve exponentially. The probe that we found that is more cheap, it's a CE that only costs us 12 euros.
Now we'll go with the conclusion. Our solution to the challenge is from an international student community that through programming contributes creating an information network that lists the contaminated water sources from the towns and cities. To do this, we could share the information from our student and help the plan with the creation of the device and the necessary programming taking measurements. With the information collected through all the teams are formed, we will have a real life updated map of different zones and the water sources on the one hand, and on the other hand, the analysis of the rivers and other water sources to preserve them for the future. We have proven the programming effectively helps improve health and the environment, and it's therefore very effective impacting in our society and beneficial way in achieving objectives that are really necessary for all of us. For example, the ODS, the 3 and 6. This project we have already have small seed to make our idea grow and become really in a reality in a really short time.